Hey everyone, I just wanted to make a few quick comments about your Unit 5 discussion work. Once again, you did a very good job of communicating well with one another, maintaining collegial responses. Also, you did a very good job across the board of asking open-ended discussion questions um, that really led to a lot of good responses that were grounded in evidence from the readings and from the videos. Um, there are a couple of major issues, I think, that we were discussing during this particular unit since we were talking about daily life and also how the church and the Catholic faith played a major role in daily life in the kind of colonial middle that Restall and Lane have told us about. Um, I made a couple of posts throughout the discussion. I apologize that it's a little bit late. It's been kind of a crazy week. Had a couple other projects to work on earlier in the week. So just wanted to let you know that you did a great job of thinking about some of the ways that Spanish Catholicism was more than just a religious movement or more than just a religion. It was an important component of the Spanish Empire, an important component of kind of dictating standards for behavior, what it meant to belong within the Spanish Empire. So even if you were an indigenous person in Peru, for example, or the Viceroyalty of Peru at the point in time that we're talking about, um, you would have been expected to change your modes of dress, change your ways of speaking, even of thinking, in order to be able to adopt Catholicism in the ways that the Franciscans and the Jesuits and the Dominican missionaries hoped that you would. Those groups that I just mentioned, and this is something that I don't think we talked about very much in the discussion or elsewhere this week, but those groups were called the regular orders. And they were the ones who were the missionaries on the front lines of trying to convert people, trying to make good on the Patronato Real, or that connection between the Pope and the king and kings and queens of Spain and Portugal. They were there to explain what Catholicism was and explain why indigenous peoples should adopt it. And of course, from their perspective, they believed their religion to be the one true faith, superior to all others. There was no room for other kinds of practices. So it's within that kind of context we would think that indigenous traditions, indigenous rituals and rites would have just faded away over time, because, as a few of you pointed out, the Inquisition acted as sort of a thought police in the colonial Americas, trying to make sure everyone was on the same page. However, as Restall pointed out in something we read previously, the Indians did not come to an end, as he put it. There was a myth that the indigenous lifeways would end, would eventually be assimilated into European lifeways and be stamped out. This wasn't only true in the colonial Latin America, but also in colonial British settlements in the eastern United States, and then throughout U.S. history. As assimilation efforts were undertaken, many people who lived in the late 19th century, for example, someone like George Armstrong Custer, would be very surprised if they were able to come back today, or even the Franciscan missionaries to come back today and see how resilient indigenous traditions are, indigenous culture, indigenous faith. But as a few of you have pointed out as well, that faith has become a syncretic sort of belief, a blended religion. Most indigenous peoples in Latin America, certainly not all, but most, have adopted Catholicism alongside and with a lot of their traditional beliefs. One good example of this, beyond the thread that we had about why the Spanish built their cathedrals directly on top of the indigenous pyramids and indigenous structures, much in that same way, the foundations of indigenous culture and belief remained intact while new ideas from Catholicism were built on top of it. Just the other day, on November 1st and 2nd, people of Latin American heritage, especially Mexican heritage, celebrated Dia de los Muertos, or the Day of the Dead. Um, those days have become associated with All Saints' Day and All Souls' Day, which are Catholic traditions. But the idea that was an indigenous idea from central Mexico and Mesoamerica that the souls of the departed return on those days has remained part of the celebrations. The ofrendas that are made continue to use um, the same kinds of flowers, the marigolds and the chrysanthemums, that it was believed invited the souls of the dead to return from Mictlan, which was the place, the lower level of um, where the dead went. It attracted them from Mictlan, the souls, back to their homes, back to their loved ones for just a short period of time. So to honor them, ofrendas were made that um, reflected what those people did in their lives. And that's still a practice that goes on today, but it's also connected with those Catholic traditions of All Saints' Day and All Souls' Day. Um, and so those things have come together to take on new meanings, but also this was a way of preserving traditional cultures and indigenous lifeways. So I'll leave all of that there, but I think that that's an important thing for us to keep in mind as we think about how gender norms were challenged. A few of us talked about that as well in the discussion board, and that was something I mentioned in the intro video to this unit. There were a lot of ways in which the system was challenged, even though it seemed like it was very rigid, like it would be very much a monolithic thing that would have immense power to assimilate people. That was never the case. And so I think that's something we can learn lessons about still today as we interact with different groups of people who have different modes of belief and different ways of seeing the world. I think that helps us to understand why respect and diversity is so important, or should be so important in our society. So I hope that you're having a good week. I apologize that my introduction for Unit 6 is going to be a bit late, but I'm going to post that here soon as well. Please let me know, as always, if you have any questions or concerns, and I look forward to working through Unit 6 with you. Also keep in mind, Unit 7 will focus just on Manitzin's choices. You're expected to take a week off for Thanksgiving in the middle of that unit. Please do that so that you can kind of rest, recoup, and then finish the semester strong. So, all right, I will actually shut up now. Have a great week, great day.